call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Kyle Daukaus takes on Gerald Meerschaert this Saturday at UFC 322. And Gerald Meerschaert getting a lot of rough matchups in his career. Last 3 matchups: Ranier Ritter, Brad Tavares, Mikhail Lachechek. Before that, Edmund Shabazian. He was able to win that fight, but that's still a tough matchup. Joe Pyfer. So no favors being afforded to Gerald Meerschaert, who's 37, getting up there in age, taking a lot of damage, been in the UFC for a long time, but has a lot of high-level experience, very crafty on the ground, decent stand-up. He showed really good stand-up in his fight with Ranier Ritter, but again, that's Ranier Ritter. But outside of that, Brad Tavares is able to keep it on the feet and kind of box him up, and then Mikhail Lachechek getting the KO in the first round back in August. So was KO'd about 3 months ago, hopping back in there against Kyle Daukaus, who has shown to have kind of a resurgence in his career, coming in on short notice to replace Marco Tulio to take on Michel Pereira back in August, and ended up getting the knockout less than a minute in. So was cut from the UFC, got knocked out by Roman Dolidze, Eric Anders. I can respect a Roman Dolidze knockout. He's very powerful, not the best striker though. But then getting ground and pounded by Eric Anders, I don't know. But he went on the regional scene. Got 4 wins, including 3 finishes to get the short notice call back against Michel Pereira to get the win. So I'm going to go with Kyle Daukaus in this one. You look back through his UFC career, lost a decision to Brendan Allen. No shame in that. Beat Dustin Soltis by decision, lost to Phil Haas by decision. Had the no contest with Kevin Holland. I think it was like a headbutt that knocked out Kevin Holland, and then gets the finish over Jamie Pickett. Loses to Roman Dolidze, who's not bad, and then Eric Anders, Eric Anders isn't a terrible fighter, so getting the finish over Michel Pereira is very impressive. He's also no slouch on the ground, jiu-jitsu black belt as well, has a lot of Darce finishes, rear naked chokes on the regional scene, so I don't expect him to go to the ground here with Gerald Meerschaert, because I do think that he's just going to have a drastic advantage on the feet. He's 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. Gerald Meerschaert, 6'1" with a 77.5-inch reach, so he's going to be at a reach disadvantage, but in terms of pure striking, I think that he's a better striker. Obviously, his chin is kind of suspect, but I don't see Gerald Meerschaert really chinning him. I think that Gerald Meerschaert's going to look to be using his striking to set up his takedowns and get it to the ground. And I don't think it's lights out if Meerschaert gets it to the ground. I think Daukaus, he's long. I think he's got a good wrestling game. He's good defensively when it comes to the jiu-jitsu game, and I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns. Gerald Meerschaert not really known for great takedowns by any means. Will pull a guard if needed. But I don't see Kyle Daukaus shooting takedowns on him. I don't see him getting taken down by him either. He's got decent takedown defense, 82%, so I think Kyle Daukaus will keep it on the feet. I think he'll start tagging up Gerald Meerschaert, and I think he'll find the KO. I think that Meerschaert's taken a lot of damage coming off of a KO 3 months ago. Been knocked out a few times in his career. Khamzat Chimaev knocked him out early, Ian Heinisch, Joe Pyfer. So I think Kyle Daukaus has this one in the bag. I think he sprawls and brawls and gets Gerald Meerschaert out of there by KO round 1 or 2. Thanks.